Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. My beloved wife cheated on me and my daughter isn't mine. How can I move forward as well as shake angry feelings? Need support. This is gonna be a long one. My wife and I were married for 21 years. I figured it was one of those miracle marriages because we barely argued, seemed I always be the best of friends, etc. Well, our 15-year-old daughter received a 23andMe thing for her birthday from a friend. And of course, it said we weren't related. She had me do a swab as well as her mother and her 14-year-old brother. Only her brother and I seemed to be related. So I did a paternity test afterwards and lo and behold, she wasn't my ducking child. My ex-wife cried and pleaded for me to hear her out, but I just went numb to her. It would be one thing to cheat, but to find out the light of my life isn't even related to me killed me. Don't get me wrong, I love my daughter with all of my heart. She's still my daughter no matter what. But what's scaring me most is my seemingly vindictive desires. I've never been like this, and I know it's out of anger, but I want her to suffer so bad. The kids absolutely hate her, which on one end helps that desire, but I know that deep down, she is still their mother, and I don't really want them to hate her. Her parents and siblings all are mortified at her. Her sister hasn't spoken to her in a couple months. We all grew up together, so it hit hard for everyone. Again, this makes me feel great, which in turn scares me, because I don't actually want her life to go into shambles. But I can't help feeling euphoric when I learn something in her life is falling apart. Both children are living with me, as they don't view their mother in a favorable light at all right now. I'm thinking about having the talk about them going to talk to her, because as of now, they refuse. The part that breaks my heart the most is that my daughter seems to be overcompensating her role as a daughter. She makes sure to tell me how much she loves me, and is, in essence, being the perfect daughter. But I can tell it's because she knows that she isn't biologically mine, but she desperately wants me to know how much she values me. I'm actually going to talk to her tonight about that. To tell her that she doesn't have to act differently. I just really want to know how to shake the sadness and angry, vindictive feelings. I want to move forward as well as help my children move forward so they can worry about school and being teens. Please, any advice will help. TL, doctor, wife of 21 years cheated on me and my 15-year-old daughter isn't mine. I've been having sadistic/vindictive feelings towards her and I want to put those away as well as help my children move past it as well. This situation is way above Reddit's pay grade. You and the children need therapy. ASAP. Having said that, let me offer a few pointers from my own experience. Kids don't care about biology. Your daughter will always see you as her father. I love my two stepdaughters as much as my two biological daughters. Full stop. But she might be worried about you leaving, as I'm sure she's picking up on the anger you have towards her mother. She might be wishing she could never see her mother again, and then making the jump to assuming you are having similar thoughts, and now could act on them as if she isn't your daughter. You absolutely need to reassure her that you are in that dad/daughter relationship with her for the long haul. You need to channel that anger to something productive, or at least not needlessly destructive. Needful destruction could be finally demolishing that old garden wall that's been sitting there for 10 years. Assuming you are in the States, my understanding is that 14 is the age at which most courts will start to take the child's opinion under consideration. You should be consulting with your lawyer, you have one, right? About how you should be handling the children with regards to seeing their mother. In my opinion, you should be assuring the children that if they want to see their mother, that you will understand and not hold it against them. As you shouldn't. Stay strong, and channel that anger into something productive. Get therapy. Talk to other infidelity survivors. Don't drink to excess. Start working out if you don't already. Do stuff with the kids. A day at a time. That's how the hurt and anger go away. You just have to distract yourself until enough time has passed. Good luck. Having found out my dad isn't my biological dad, I cannot stress this enough: get therapy for you and the children. It really messes with your head. It sounds as though you are a loving and wonderful father, heart. Wait, you guys are getting paid? I know, man, my whole time on Reddit has been a lie as well, sweating face. Not gonna lie, you made me literally laugh out loud. Yeah, I get the sense that Op's daughter isn't trying to overcompensate to make Op feel better, she's shaken by the fact that she doesn't have a biological connection to her father who she loves. That would be such a mind for a young kid who idolizes their dad, which most kids do. In my completely uneducated opinion, she's trying to strengthen the connection between her and Op because she feels like it's been diminished. I've read so many stories like this on Reddit, but every time I hear them it makes me so sad and angry for the dad and the child who basically just had their whole identity blown up in their face. Paternity fraud really is one of the most evil things a woman can do, and the fact that there are zero consequences for it really blows my mind. I've read so many stories like this on Reddit, but every time I hear them it makes me so sad and angry for the dad and the child who basically just had their whole identity blown up in their face. Paternity fraud really is one of the most evil things a woman can do, and the fact that there are zero consequences for it really blows my mind. Yep, totally agree. I don't see how one can be so morally and emotionally evil as to do something like this. It baffles me. And especially the lack of consequences. At this rate, half the women who do commit the heinous crime are practically rewarded for it once divorce and such comes, when they're given a shit ton of money/compensation. I've always said DNA tests at birth would go a long way to greatly prevent this, not foolproof, but man would it be helpful in this day and age. Family units are torn apart from stuff like this, as we see with Op, and the fallout has taken its toll on the family. God bless them. Yeah, I agree. Imagine how much better off Op and his kids would have been if he found out right away at the hospital. It would have still been shocking for sure, but at least the man will have time to start a new life and won't have to financially support another man's kid for 18 years. And the kid won't have their world blown up unexpectedly at some point in their life. The other story I've seen a lot on Reddit is women having their husband request a paternity test and they get insanely pissed and sometimes get divorced over it. Doing it every time as a standard procedure is a good idea because the times when it's least expected are the most damaging, but those are the times when guys are scared to ask or don't even think about it. Really, the only people who don't stand to benefit are the women tricking men into raising other men's kids. Update: beloved wife cheated on me and my daughter isn't mine. Update: I know it's been some time, but it actually destroys me to write about it. Last post. For some clarification, we did talk about it, and it was in the fair. I just didn't want to write that part out because it physically makes me shake with anger to talk about it. My daughter and I are both in therapy. I am taking the advice of my therapist and the many commenters on my last post, and am not going to force my kids to talk to their mother. They are old enough to understand the gravity of the situation and have their own feelings about it. Because of this, they will need to take their own time gathering up how they feel in dealing with it, with any help they need from me, of course. The pain my daughter is going through seems to have healed somewhat. I've gotten her to fully believe that my love for her will never change and that she will always be my daughter. Her pain seems not to be about our relationship anymore, but her newly found trust issues and trauma from the family being broken apart. She's also confided in me that she feels like it's all her fault, and that if she never brought the kid home, the family would still be together. I hugged her and let her know that none of this was her fault, and that she was only looking to do something fun with the family. She had no idea what would happen and that she should never blame herself. I've had one conversation with my STBXW, in which she begged and pleaded with me to forgive her and that she would cherish me for the rest of her life. She said it was stupid, it meant nothing, and that she regrets it 100%. She also said that she believes our love can withstand it. I told her that if our love was that strong, she wouldn't have felt the need to find sexual comfort in someone else. She is currently staying with her parents. I've communicated with her sister, and apparently she's borderline suicidal. They are trying to get her help, but she refuses, as the only thing she wants to do is see me and the children. Because of this, I'm waiting to serve her the divorce papers. I don't want to add on any more things to destroy her mental health. I've brought up talking to her with my son and daughter, to which they adamantly refused. I am going to respect their wishes and give them their own time to cope. I have this nagging feeling that she does not actually care about how it made any of us feel, and that she only cares about the fact that she's about to lose her picture-perfect family and the comfortable life that we had, and that it's her fault. I have no desire to try to fix the relationship and move forward. That's all for now. TL, doctor, daughter and I are in therapy. Kids have no desire to talk to their mom. STBXW is a wreck and refuses to get help. Back in my 20s, when I still looked at a perfect world, I was horrified to find that nearly every woman I worked with cheated. Only one of the men I knew did so. Now that might have been an abomination, but nothing I've seen in the 40 years sine has changed my mind. Men get the bad rap because of a very small percentage of type A sociopaths and leave the other 95% of decent, faithful men to pick up the pieces. Since women talk to their friends way more easily about being cheated on than men do, it looks like only men cheat, whereas the vast majority of men do not. I can relate to this naive outlook when I was younger. This permanently changed Sadly, there is almost no punishment for paternity fraud. Women have been doing it since the beginning of time. That's not a dig against women, just a fact. Men have been fighting wars since we first picked up a club. It's just our nature. Most men that have sued to be relieved from child support obligations in the US and elsewhere have lost in court. Many of the losses were technical in nature, like only having 1 year to challenge paternity. Parker v. Parker from Florida is a particularly disgusting case from 2001 where a man was forced to pay what will amount to over $200,000 in child support for a child that isn't his. Eventually in 2008 the laws were changed because DNA made establishing paternity so easy, but sadly this didn't help Mr. Parker, as an appellate court ruled the new law wouldn't retroactively apply to Mr. Parker. There have been several modern studies done on paternity fraud and they average between 17% and 33%, for a median of 26%. This was among couples where a DNA test to establish paternity was sought. So basically, if you think the kid isn't yours and you seek a DNA test, you've got about a 30% of being right. Still, most courts are still going to do what they believe is best for the child regardless of paternity. This is drawn from a random website, bold emphasis mine. Children born during a marriage. The husband is presumed to be the father of a child born during or after his marriage to the mother. In some states, there is an irrefutable presumption of paternity. This means that if a child is born during the marriage, you will be deemed the father, even if a DNA later says otherwise. Other states do allow you to rebut, or challenge, paternity if you comply within strict time limits to challenge paternity. If you consent to your divorce being finalized without contesting paternity, you will forever be deemed the father. This presumption cannot be rebutted, even if you didn't have reason to believe the child was not yours. Once a judgment or order decrees that you are the father of a child, challenging the judgment with an appeal or motion, even on grounds like fraud, is very time-sensitive and difficult. It's kind of weird because other countries have such laws in place already. In France, consumer paternity tests are illegal. It can only be legally done when court-ordered. Well, let's say that with the number of cheaters here in France and the fact that cheating is almost approved in our culture, movies, literature, one of our former presidents even had a whole hidden family with his mistress, maybe it's for the best that we cannot have free access to DNA tests. Few people would still have a complete family if we did smile. Does social approval make it less personally devastating? Or does it just make the betrayed spouse more isolated if they grieve? Yes, I'm almost ashamed to say that, but yes, definitely. Of course I can't speak for everyone in my country, but even if nobody enjoy to be cheated on, obviously, it's like we are almost raised to see cheating as something that will happen to you at some point in your life. You can't imagine the number of people I know who cheated, have been cheated on, and who are still with their so as if nothing happened. My parents, for example, multiple cheating from both part decades ago and still together, 40 years married. They are currently planning a trip across Europe when COVID restrictions will lift. One of my best friend is getting married at the end of the month. 14 years together with her fiancé, they just had a baby. She cheated 8 or 10 years ago. He did the same at some point, and I really don't think either of them think about it now. It's seen as a rough patch in a relationship, but it's not trauma material, at least for a large number of people I know. Once again, I can't speak for everybody. We have this strange sense of love can make you do all sort of things that makes us weirdly forgiving of cheating. So yes, to answer your question, I think somehow it lesser the pain, because when you expect something like this to happen in the same way life happens, and when you see that it actually happens to almost everybody, you are not falling from the 50th floor when it happens to you. I speak from experience, it happened to me too. For your sake I'm replying to this comment. OP, you are being manipulated by her family. Don't trust anything that comes from her side for potential misinformation and manipulation factors. Your former significant other is a partner of human waste. She used and manipulated you for decades, controlling you and abusing you through her relationship to you. She is and has been actually lying about the very foundational facts that made the relationship exist primarily. You have no need of a parasitic abuser and domestic abuser controlling you. You're all the better for making sure she doesn't exist when it comes to your living perception situation. You have enough to worry about dealing with your children's problems stemming from their mom's domestic abuse of the family. Don't let your ex-wife fool anyone. She is a pure evil domestic criminal through the decades of abuse she purposefully acted and chose to commit to against you. Do you know who the affair partner is? Not personally. It was an old co-worker of hers. Update 2, beloved wife cheated and my daughter isn't mine. Update. First post. Second post. It's been a long while, so I figured I'd give you guys one last update. My daughter is doing a lot better. Our relationship seems to actually have gotten stronger since this whole thing. And it's not even an act. We hang out more and have a lot of heart-to-heart talks. She went to her mother's parents' house to see her mother. From what I heard, she mostly just talked to her grandparents and didn't say much to her mom. My son is also doing fine. His experience is different from daughter's because he actually is my child. He's still angry at his mom for betraying me, but he's coming around and talked to her more when they went to visit her. He's still hesitant, because he's a protective little brother and hates that his sis felt awful. I actually give him credit for keeping her sane. He talked to her, went on walks with her, and he didn't give up on her. I told him I was proud of him for sticking by her side. I also talked to him about how he feels, because I realized that during all of this, I kind of dismissed him since he was my bio child. But he's going through his stuff too, and we have many talks now, and he's in IC. As for my wife, I tried to do MC to see if there was any hope. I tried to believe her that it was the only affair and that she didn't know she was carrying her child. But it didn't work out. I couldn't look at her or speak to her in MC, and when I did say something, it was just about how bad it made me feel. She would sob and beg on her knees, but it didn't change anything. I couldn't believe that she'd never cheated again, and I believe she knew it wasn't her child but just chose me because I was the safest bet. I'd been played like a fool and I'm done with it. I served her at her parents' house and she flew into hysterics. She screamed at the top of her lungs on the ground. I couldn't understand a word she was saying, but I just felt numb to it. Her mother tried to beg me to forgive her, but her father just walked me out to the front, and without saying a word, gave me a firm handshake and nod with a face that said I understand completely. We got into contact with my daughter's bio dad and got his medical info. She said she doesn't want anything to do with him because she already has a dad. I'm not gonna try to talk her out of it either. Though, I have a fear that she'll want to contact him one day and become very close with him, and that I'll fade out. But I try to push that to the back of my mind and only let it out during IC. That's where we are now. Me and the kids are trying our best to push through. This will most likely be the last update unless something big happens, which I doubt. Thank you to everyone who helped me and checked up on me. I really appreciate all the help and advice. You'll never fade out. You've been there too long. You know her too well. She trusts you intently. It doesn't mean she won't one day get curious. It has nothing to do with you. You'll always be her number one dad. Because you were always there. So don't take it too harshly if one day she does get curious. It's natural. It's genetics. But it doesn't even come close to replacing the nurture that you've given. May I ask a question? How do you get the thought of your non-biological daughter/son from replacing you? Just the thought of me getting replaced by my child's bio dad completely ruins my day. As an adopted child, I was curious, and tracked down my bio mum. We message a couple times a year. My parents are my parents. They brought me up. But honestly, it took finding my bio mum to really realize that without equivocation. Don't be afraid of her going to look, it may even strengthen her relationship with you. Thank you for your perspective. I know that only time will actually help relieve your mind, but maybe I can help a bit. My bio father didn't raise me, my stepdad did. He came into my life when I was 4 years old. He's my dad. He was gruff and grumbling. Never one to sit down and talk or discuss, but take a walk or drive and get it out of your system. Though he loved to tease and laughingly took teasing back. He gave me adventures, taught me strategy games, played with me over and over until I started to win. Then he taught me a new game, taught me values, respect, and how to be my own person. He always had my back. He protected me and loved me. He never stopped. He's the dad I chose and the one that chose me. 51 years later and he's still my dad, my son's grandfather, and now a great-grandfather to my grandchildren. As someone adopted, it's just curiosity. It's natural, but it doesn't change that my parents are my parents. Maybe they would get close, but it'd be a different kind. If you have self-destructive thoughts like this, you should highly consider therapy. You are spiraling tremendously to an all-time low self-esteem and are starting to create a narrative that you are unloved. Your father-in-law is the real man. He's understand your situation and support your decision. Get divorce. Move forward. Don't forgive cheaters. She's thinking you're a fool, so she's hiding this secret. I have to say that you've been handling this as well as a person could. You can hold your head up and know you took the high road. I'm happy and hopeful that things between you and your daughter and your son will remain special and precious, even more so as the three of you are forging the steel of your relationship in the fires of this crucible. It was very hard. You don't know how much I wanted to get revenge. I felt bad that I felt great about her life falling apart. My kids are what kept me on the high road. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.